Bake with us, Canada. This week's guest baker is ChefD. And this week's recipes are for sourdough bread and angel food cake.
Welcome to another delicious episode of Baking for Change. I'm your host, Wendy Pauls, and I'm always excited, but I'm extra excited today to have our special guest baker, ChefD. And we have lots of wonderful things coming your way. So first of all, welcome to the show.
Well, hey, great. Thank you for having me on.
We're delighted that you're here. I'm super excited about what we're going to be working on today. So before we get to that, briefly tell us about you and your business, but keep it brief.
Okay, so
we got lots to do.
In 2010, my wife and I decided we're going to form ChefD. So we did that. We thought we were going to just work for companies. I was a corporate chef at the time, and so then we thought, hey, why don't we do that? And then 11 months in, we got that fateful phone call from Center in the Square saying, hey, do you want to cater for BB King? And I said, yes.
Ooh, yes.
And we did BB King, Pat Benatar, Kenny Rogers, 2 nights with Stuart McLean. Wow. And that kind of started the journey of becoming a catering company. And we pushed it away a while because we were still doing work for companies and that, and thinking we weren't really caterers. We were caterers, type thing. And, fast forward to 2023, we now have 15 full-time employees, 10 contract employees. We've changed the name from ChefD TV, because nobody ever really got that, to ChefD Catering and Events, and that's what we do. So this is our 10th season of At Home with ChefD, our 5th season of At the Cottage with ChefD, and we're a regular on a whole bunch of TV stations.
Oh, wow. Do you still enjoy it?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I love being back in the kitchen. I get pulled in so many different directions and that type of thing as an entrepreneur as well. But I love being back in the kitchen by myself, where I'm just cooking, I'm doing my thing, and away we go. Because that's how it all started, know?
Yeah. Is it cathartic?
It is. It's very cathartic. Yes, it is. I don't get stressed when I'm cooking. There's other things that stress me.
I wish I could say the same.
And there's a lot of people that feel like, that cooking and baking, and I do more cooking than I really do baking. Like the recipes that we're doing today are 2 that I really like doing. I'm not a big baker.
Okay.
That's not been, my forte as such. But I love working with bread.
Well, I'm very excited about that. So let's tell our viewers at home what we're going to be making today.
Okay, so we're going to do a sourdough bread hack. And maybe that's not the right word for it, but it's more of an easy sourdough that you don't have to have a starter for, because everybody's worried about the starter, feeding the starter, keeping it going. Yeah. This is an easy way of doing a sourdough, as we're going to see, and you're going to taste.
It's beautiful.
You're going to taste a little bit, and we'll get started with that.
Okay.
And then a classic recipe, and it's I love how I've been doing this for about 39 years now.
You started when you were 2. I got it. Yeah.
I love how I set you up for that. And so old recipes keep circulating back.
Yep.
So we're going to do a classic angel food cake. And we were asked probably pre-COVID to do an angel food cake. And I went, why aren't we doing more of this? And I, as a kid, that was one of the birthday cakes, that my one grandmother would make for us, right? So we're going to do that with, it's going to be an angel food cake with a coffee crisp whipped cream coffee icing.
Oh, sounds amazing. Yes. So just a reminder that we have recipes on our website that you can go check out. So if you want to make these things at home, watch this and then give it a shot yourself.
Perfect. So you ready?
I'm ready. What's first?
Okay, so we're going to make the sourdough bread first. So we have some water here. Now, I'm just going to get you to go with your pinky, just to give it a touch.
Oh, yeah.
And it's tepid. So it's about 110 degrees. That's what we're looking for. If you go any hotter than that, you're going to kill the yeast, and we don't want to kill the yeast, right? Okay. So then the other thing that's important is yeast needs sugar. Like it needs something to eat.
Like me, I need sugar.
So we're going to put in about a tablespoon and a half of sugar.
Okay. I like that about.
Right. Yeah. And we're just going to give it a quick stir so it dissolves a little bit. And then we're going to add in 2 tablespoons of yeast. This is dry active yeast. This isn't instant yeast.
Not instant.
You could use instant yeast and put it in with the flour if you wanted to. I want to show you how it's going to bloom, okay? So we're going to add 2 tablespoons of yeast into our dish.
And I love learning. So thank you for walking through this. And I'm sure some of our
I'm going to
viewers
smooth
as
the
well.
flour just over for a second so that we can see that it's, and this is how you're going to start seeing, this is a blooming process of the yeast, right?
Yep.
Now, the other thing that I put in 1.5 cups of water. Normally you would only need like 1/2 cup of water for this,
Okay.
but instead of putting more water into this at the next step,
Yep.
we don't need to do that, okay?
Okay.
So I'm going to move this over here because we're going to get,
We're gonna let it.
Yep.
We're gonna let it bloom.
right. So then, now we all need a little salt. Like, there's a lot of times people go, oh, you know, no, we need a touch of salt in
Sure.
a lot of our dishes. The problem comes that we eat a lot of fast food, you know, food and processed food here in North America, which has lots of salt,
Sure.
right?
Yep.
So if you can, you know, we still need it. So we use sea salt. So it's if you're
Generous pinch.
If you're keeping track, it's a teaspoon.
Okay.
But I never do.
I love that.
You know,
Yes.
and then I'm just going to stir the salt in. Now we're not going to put any sugar in this at all because the sugar's in here.
Okay.
The other thing with this bread is that you're going to place it in your refrigerator, and it's going to go like, just let it sit there for between 24 and 36 hours.
Okay.
Okay,
So
so
you gotta
then
plan ahead. if
right,
you're
so
gonna make this.
100%. That's the only thing that's going to be hard about this. Okay, and you can start seeing our yeast is blooming up nicely.
Ah, yes.
We have
all-purpose or bread flour?
This is all-purpose. I just thought for the first try, you know, you want to use the all-purpose, and then you can experiment. Bread flour. There's a whole bunch of different. We use 1847 flours. Really cool story. They've been milling since 1847, and I think anybody under 30 is like kids, right?
Yeah.
So these kids have this mill, and they do really great breads and that. And because it's not processed, it, you know, again, there's yeast and that in the air, right? So this is also going to help. Also going to help you with this growing. So when you have sourdough bread, when you have the starter, you have that tang. You know what I mean? So
I love it.
okay, so we're going to mimic that tang by using apple cider vinegar.
Ooh, okay.
And then we're going to use a little bit of beer. Now, again,
I thought that was for me while we were baking, but you know, okay.
Well, it could be. It could be. Now, some people, again, if you're not into the alcohol, you know, you could use. There's some really great non-alcoholic beers out there now.
And that will work as well.
100% it will.
Okay.
100% it will.
Yeah.
But okay, and this is
look
where
at
we're
this.
going now, right?
We are doing science experiments.
I know, right? This
today.
is about as close to as science as I get.
Yes, this is fun.
So we're going to let this about another. In actual time, would be probably 5 minutes. It's going to take.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep. Chef D, the science guy.
We can-
All you home bakers, we hope that you have been baking along with us. And we would love to see your photos. Take a photo and send it to contact@bakingforchange.ca. We might feature it on the show, on the website, on social media. So send in those photos today. So it looks like our yeast is blooming well.
It's blooming. It's done its job. So 5
I can
minutes.
smell it.
I know, and it
Yeah.
smells amazing, right?
I like it.
And so we're going to pour this in, and again, have a spatula with you. And I meant to mention that the 1847 flours,
Yes.
well, they will deliver to your door.
Oh my
Right?
goodness.
Okay,
Oh,
so-
what a world we live in. I love it.
So we're going to pour that all together. And we don't need a mixer for this. This is what's so great about it.
okay.
Then we're going to add in 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar.
This much?
Yeah. And then 1 cup of beer.
You can honestly tell a cup from pouring?
Yes, you can.
That's amazing.
Well, you know, I've been doing this a little while.
Yeah, that's true. You have some practice.
So we're going to stir
Look at
this
these
in.
Bubbles.
Right.
Love it.
And then now, you want this to be a wet dough. And there's a lot of times when you're making bread is that you think you need this dry dough. You don't. So we might have to add just a little bit more water to this. We will. I can tell you that
It's
right
smelling so good. Yep. See, I'm already visualizing, you know, butter on it and getting into it.
Some good jam. And this is a visual thing now. So I'm gonna show you as we go. So just add a little bit at a time. And again, we might need to add a little bit more.
Okay. And what are we watching for? What are we trying to...
It's just going to be a wet dough. Like right now, we're still really dry. We still haven't got all the flour off. And sorry, I forgot to mention there's 5 cups of flour in here.
Oh, yes. That's
That'll be an important part,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
just put a bunch in a bowl.
Right. You can experiment that way.
Okay. And you prefer stirring with a spatula?
You do just for this one because you don't want to overmix it, right?
Okay.
So then the last of the water is going to go in. So we probably added, just for you folks out there to know, we probably added about a cup more water.
Yes, we do need to give good instructions to help
Right.
our friends at home.
Right? And that's the thing is that sometimes, people come to me and go, well, the recipe didn't work, or, it didn't taste the same as the last time. Even for us, we change it.
You gotta adapt.
But it's not even adapting. It's just one day it might be this mood, or that. So it just, and this is what we're looking for, Wendy. Is that see how nice and
yes,
it's all incorporated. And then what we're going to do,
that is quite wet.
right? And yes, and you're never going to touch it with your hands either. Like you don't have to knead this. This is no knead. But okay,
Wow.
I know you say that, but there's again that therapy of kneading the dough,
Well, that's
right?
true.
Pulling it
That's
back,
true.
pulling,
Yeah,
And if you're having a bad day,
yeah.
you go a little harder at it, right?
Yeah. I made mochi a few weeks ago. That was very fun to play with, that dough.
Okay, so then now, we're going to place this in the refrigerator. We're not going to look at it. You don't have to look at it. If this is at home, you could go literally as short as 16 hours, as long as 36.
Amazing.
And just put it in the fridge, again, because you're going to have a little bit of the good bacteria, the good yeast kind of flowing through the air.
Yep.
Let it go. It's going to pop up just a little bit, but because it's cold in the refrigerator, it's not going to go all the way. Okay.
Have we got it covered?
You can if you want to cover it, put some saran wrap or cling wrap on it, and then actually put a bunch of holes in it.
Okay, it needs
Right?
to breathe a little bit.
100% it needs to breathe. Okay, it's a good song. A good band need to breathe. It is a good band. So this is where we're going to go, and then I just want to show this because we had, for the sake of timing, is we had to put a bread in the oven now. It's going to go in your oven at 400 to 425 degrees. If you have a convection oven, 400 degrees. If you have just a standard oven, 425. And then you close it in a parchment lined Dutch oven. This is the important part. And then you put in the Dutch oven. It's going to bake for 45 minutes. 45 minutes. Depends on your oven. And you're going to just, don't even look at it for the first 30 minutes. Then open it up and you're going to start seeing that it's going to get nice and brown, and I'll bring it out in just a little bit and we can take it from there.
All right, sounds great.
So I brought this out and it's been in the oven for 30 minutes. Okay, so 15 more minutes to go. So just so you get an idea, is just see how it just, and then you just smell it, right?
Okay.
And you can just start seeing it's just starting to brown out, starting to get those cracks that sourdough you want, right?
Yeah.
And away we go. So the story behind why I like baking bread is when I was 10 years old, I was bored one summer day. And my mom had two cookbooks in her life, was Good Housekeeping and Food That Really Schmecks.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
And so I took the Good Housekeeping cookbook and went bread. Okay, so flour, yeast, sugar, water.
That's brave for a 10-year-old, I feel like.
So I walked up to my local store, bought the flour, bought the sugar, brought it back and made bread. And my mom comes walking in and goes, "What the heck are you doing?" And I said, well, I was bored and I wanted to make bread. And so that's kind of how it all started. So made bread, cinnamon buns, the donuts, the whole 9 yards, right?
Wow.
And then back, now we offer bread through our catering company, through a lot of different events that we do. But I think this is more important that you try that. If you want to pass me the short knife beside you.
I think that's important too. Yeah, I agree with you.
So we're going to cut into this.
I'm not even having to wait till the very end.
Right. We were on breakfast TV a little while ago, and they actually had food, like we had food for them like right away. And the host said, like, to the producer, "Why aren't we eating every time before we get started?"
I know. Normally I have to wait so long, the whole show, to eat. Now I get to eat earlier.
Okay, there's some butter on for you.
Amazing.
Try that. Please try it. And you
well,
can just,
we sometimes cheers. Are you going to eat with me?
Yeah, 100%. But I just also want to show that, when you're baking, you want to have those holes in it. That's what, another thing. And you can just see that it's still dense. It's still a little bit moist, so you know this is gonna make good French bread, French toast, and away you go.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look at that.
Great texture.
Crispy on the outside, soft on the inside. That's what you're looking for.
I like bread. You have to tear a little bit with your teeth. I cannot wait to make this. I'm a little older than 10, but I'm going to give it a shot because I've only ever, confession, used a bread maker to make bread. I have never made it apart from that. So I'm really excited
You
to
can
try
do
it.
this in a bread maker.
This has already been great. And we're not done yet.
No, we're only halfway through.
What are we doing now?
Angel food cake.
Okay.
Okay, classic recipe, right? And been around for years. You know, you can do the angel food cake mix, but once you find out how easy, and I do say this a lot, and I find it easy for myself, and maybe some viewers might not, but we tried to break it down into easy, tasteful pieces that you can do. So you have, again, like 6 ingredients.
Okay.
So we have
pretty simple.
cream of tartar, we have vanilla, some salt,
egg whites, which is the important part. There's 16 egg whites here.
and then we have sugar.
And then we have
Now,
sugar.
this is granulated sugar, so what we're going to do is we're going to put it into our blender.
Okay,
Because-
I'm guessing you need a powerful blender to do this.
You can, any kind of blender will, seriously, it will work,
Okay.
it will. Or
Okay.
if you don't have a blender, a food processor will work at home.
Okay.
Put it in your food processor, same kind of thing. And then we're going to put it back on, and then I'm going to add my flour in.
And it's doing some of the work for
And
us.
it's doing all the work for us, right?
Yeah.
Same
Love
type of thing. Now it's
learning
gonna, it starts off slow, it's gonna get loud in a second. See this one now. As you do that, again, with the blender or food processor, you're gonna add air into it, and that's what we're looking for.
UNICEF. The change part of the Baking for Change name means that in addition to baking yummy treats, you can also donate a little money to UNICEF Canada to help make change. The Baking for Change website has a direct link you can use to make a donation, and you can even ask for a tax receipt. There are lots of great charities out there, but we chose to support UNICEF Canada because when we were kids, we collected change for them in those little orange boxes every Halloween. Maybe you did too. And it still seems like the perfect fit for us, even if it's virtual now. Giving to UNICEF is a tradition. People like Elizabeth Montgomery, who played Samantha Stevens on Bewitched, Jim Henson and Kermit the Frog, and even the Brady Bunch supported UNICEF, and we think you should too.
So we have 16 egg whites. Now, whipped cream loves to be really cold. Like you should, when you're whipping cream,
Yes.
it should be ice cold, right?
Yeah.
Egg whites, room temperature. And they're going to fluff up a whole lot nicer for you. So these are at room temperature. Now there's going to be some viewer that's going to write in and go, well, what about it's not going to kill you?
Gotcha. Yes, people worried about health concerns. Yeah.
So egg white and then cream of tartar.
How much?
1 teaspoon.
Okay.
16 egg, yes. And then we're going to start it off on low. You just want to incorporate in the cream of tartar in with your egg white. Then we're going to speed it up. Then we're going to get it to its a soft peak, okay? And then we're going to add our sugar, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. I like it.
Turn it out. So we just need a little bit of vanilla. So a little bit of real vanilla. And we can all afford real vanilla again. During COVID, remember, it went up that ridiculously.
It went up ridiculously
Yeah.
high. Now it's,
And then just a pinch of salt in it. Now, if I was at home, this is where I turn the music up.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and so we're gonna let this whip, and then we're just gonna slowly now add our sugar in. And this is
I can't believe that's
I know, right?
granulated sugar.
So we're gonna add 3/4 of it in, okay? Because we added the last quarter in with
Okay.
the.
Oh, right.
With
Yeah. I love that we can watch what's happening in there. are you normally, while this is happening, are you multitasking? Are you doing other things?
Yes. See,
that's
and now,
beautiful.
now see how you're getting your stiff peak? That's what we're
yeah.
looking for, right?
Uh-huh.
And we've changed it, like literally from the foam of the egg white into the batter with the sugar. That's okay. There's some science, you know, as we did science before.
Yes. ChefD, the science guy.
Yeah, the egg white actually attaches to the sugar molecule, which then makes it thick. And because you're adding air to it, that's what it does. So now we're going to take this off. You might want to just try a little bit of that.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yes.
Because that's what's part of it.
Oh, yum.
Right? You get the vanilla, you know, and now,
It's so pretty.
right, this is now the flour and the last quarter part of the sugar, okay?
Yep.
So then we're going to fold this in.
And explain folding if we have people that aren't familiar
It's
with
just,
baking terms.
again, you're just, as you're saying, you're just turning your spatula over and just slowly incorporating the flour in that you're not breaking down the egg white.
Okay. And my anticipation is building. This is great. How do you know when it's just visually? You can
Just
tell
visually,
when it's...
and we're going to incorporate, make sure that it's all incorporated in. Like so. No, you could put it on low on your mixer if you want to do that.
Okay. No, don't do it. Don't do it. Just do it.
Right.
This is more rewarding.
100% it is.
Yeah. Feels more homemade. And what comes after? What's the next step?
Okay.
So we're getting ready to bake.
Exactly. Now, you know, a lot of times we spray our pans, we put parchment paper down.
Almost always.
Always, right? When you're making angel food cake, you do not do that. You want the pan not to have any spray, any oil on it, because what's going to happen is that the actual egg whites are going to climb up the pan, and that's what's going to give you the height of your cake.
Right. So we want to let it have some
Exactly.
grip.
100% we do.
Okay.
Nothing hard about this.
And what temperature is our oven at?
350 degrees. Preheat your oven at 350 degrees.
And how long are we baking for?
I'm going to say depends on your oven and depends on the heat. It could be anywhere from 28 minutes up to 42 minutes.
Okay.
Big window. 100%. And you can just do the fork test, sorry, not the fork test, but put the little, if you have a bamboo stick or something like that, you put it in, and if nothing sticks, then you're good.
Okay, okay, so that part is same as that normal
100%.
cake. Check.
And then we're just going to
even it out in there.
In the oven it goes, and we're good.
So, ta-da!
Exactly.
We have a cake, and it's cool. Who knew?
A magic of TV, you know.
Is,
and
it's amazing.
the other thing too with the angel food cake is that you want to tip it upside down.
Okay.
And don't cover it with saran wrap. Let it air, you know.
And
as
why is that?
Because there's so much moisture in with the egg whites, it has to dry out. You know, when you're baking, you're really drying out ingredients, right? That's the whole purpose of it. And so when you actually cool it down, flip it over, it's going to take between 3 and 4 hours. So now we're going to make our icing, and this is a traditional Fletcher icing. My grandmother Meyer used to make this all the time. So we're going to take some instant coffee.
And what have we got in the blender there?
We have 35% cream, so it's whipping cream, right?
Yeah, we do.
So 1 tablespoon of the coffee. And then we have 2 coffee crisp bars, right? Used to be the crunchy bars, but you can't find the crunchy bars anymore, right? So in this goes, in our blender, and we're gonna whip it up. And remember I said earlier that egg whites like the warmth? You wanna have ice cold cream.
Okay, cream cold, egg whites warm, or room temp. Wow. See, I thought you were going to do like a whipping cream and add that as like a, I didn't know you were going to put it right in there.
Right.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Okay,
you could do the blizzard test with that almost.
There you go.
Ooh. It doesn't suck.
I love it.
Goodie Goodie is a non-profit bakery offering training and jobs for refugee youth. And here's some exciting news. If you visit our website, you can find the dates and times for our pop-up bakery, where you can stop in and buy some delicious treats for yourself and support a great cause. The location of our pop-up bakery is Community Christian Reformed Church on Bleams Road in Kitchener. So visit the website today.
It's gonna come out nicely, but just, you know, again,
it's just looking delicious. Also, what I love things that aren't too sweet, just
right?
a nice amount sweet,
And so then,
because you can eat more.
100%. We're just gonna slowly take the whipped cream around the cake. And did I mention we use 3 cups of whipped cream in this recipe?
Okay,
Okay,
good
just,
to know.
right? You know,
Yep.
because I'll forget. Final.
And these recipes that you've shared today are, like, they're reasonable. They're not terribly complicated. It's great.
When I started as a corporate chef, I remember one time, you know, having this recipe that was like all these steps, and I took it to our product development team, our VP of product development, and I was really proud of this recipe, and she looked at me and said, nobody is going to do this recipe. Simple it down. You want your audience to be able to do it, because they're going to follow you then. It was words of wisdom. I don't think she realized how important that was, you know, for me down the road, you know, for what we've all done. So yes. So yes, here we go.
Here we go. Here we go. We had sort of a main course, and now we're having dessert.
Oh, that's as good as my grandma used to make.
She'd be proud. Love it.
How good is that?
Yeah. And I'm not going to stop.
Okay.
Can't eat just one.
No. Okay, I'll have another piece.
That's why we made it.
How did the host stop talking? Because we're eating.
Chef D.
Yes.
I hate to call you out, but
I know I did.
it's crunchy.
It is. And
You
I
said
thought
coffee crunchy.
Yeah, I know, right? No, crunchy used to be the crispy crunch, I think, or something like that, that you can't get anymore. So again, you know what happens in the back of the kitchen? Stays in the back of the kitchen.
Stays in the back of the kitchen. Except when Wendy rats you out. Okay. While we're eating delicious things, earlier when we tasted the bread, that butter was creamy, delicious.
So it's Butterhouse butter.
Okay.
It's 84% milk fat. So it's literally cream and salt. That's it. They
Oh.
whip it. You know, you don't have any milk solids in. Here in North America, we've been, you know, nobody wants to pay the true price of what some of our ingredients cost, right? So this butter is more expensive. You can get like at Brady's, Vincenzo's and that. But once you have it, you'll never go back.
You can't go back.
No.
Yeah. Well, there's a difference with paying for quality versus just something being expensive. So in that case, it's good stuff. Yeah. Well, as I'm eating for the second time on the show, let me take this opportunity to thank you on behalf of me, on behalf of our bakers at home, for taking time out of your very busy schedule to share some great recipes with us.
It was my pleasure. I'll come back anytime.
Ooh, you heard it.
Thanks for watching, and see you next time on Baking for Change. Special thanks to Wendy Pauls and Chef D, Red Path Sugar, Danby Appliances, and Community Christian Reformed Church.